When exploiting customers becomes unprofitable. Subway's painful death. Walk into any mall in America and you'll see it eventually. The green and yellow sign, the paper taped to the inside of the glass, a handwritten notice. Closed. What used to be the biggest restaurant chain in the world is now, block by block, disappearing. At its peak in 2015, Subway had 27,219 locations in the United States alone, more than McDonald's and Starbucks combined. It was the largest restaurant chain on the planet. A single shop in Bridgeport, Connecticut, one 17-year-old named Fred DeLuca, one loan of $1,000 from a family friend, and from that, a franchise empire that stretched across 100 countries. Since 2016, Subway has closed more than 8,345 stores in America. In 2025 alone, it shuttered 729 locations. The number keeps growing. And somehow, the question that's harder to answer than what went wrong is this: did Subway ever really care about getting it right? The business model that built Subway was deceptively elegant. Low barriers to entry, just $15,000 to open a franchise, compared to $45,000 for McDonald's, meant almost anyone could become a Subway owner. The company expanded into gas stations, hospital lobbies, school cafeterias, and Walmart entrances. It filled every available corner of American commercial life with a sandwich counter and an employee in a green apron. In the early 2000s, they found their secret weapon. His name was Jared Fogle, a college student from Indiana who claimed to have lost 245 pounds eating Subway every single day. Subway turned him into one of the most recognizable spokesmen in American advertising history. For 15 years, Jared was Subway, and Subway was health. The chain had positioned itself at exactly the right moment. As America became obsessed with diet culture, Subway handed people a story they desperately wanted to believe. Then came 2008, and the $5 footlong. For $5, you got 12 inches of sandwich. The jingle was inescapable. The value proposition was undeniable, especially during a financial crisis. Traffic poured in. Sales exploded. The promotion became a $30 billion brand identity. And that, as it turned out, was Subway's trapdoor. Subway's royalty structure meant corporate earned money on every store opened, profitable or not. More locations meant more fees, more supply chain revenue, more advertising fund contributions flooding back to headquarters. So Subway kept opening stores, not just in underserved markets, but right next door to existing ones. Franchisees reportedly begged corporate to stop approving new locations that would cannibalize their own customers. Some arrived at work to find a new Subway opening across the street from them. Their pleas had been ignored. Imagine building a business with your life savings, working 60-hour weeks behind a sandwich counter, only to watch corporate open another store 30 feet away. That is what happened to hundreds of Subway owners. The system was designed to extract revenue from franchisees, not build wealth for them. The $5 footlong made the math brutal. A fully loaded 12-inch sandwich at that price barely covered the cost of ingredients, let alone rent, labor, and the royalty fee flowing back to Milford, Connecticut. By 2012, Subway killed the promotion quietly, citing rising food costs, but the damage was already baked in. Customers had been trained. Subway was the cheap option, the brand for when you had $5 and nothing better to do. That positioning would stick for years. Then came 2015. The year three things happened simultaneously, and none of them were good. Fred DeLuca died of leukemia. He was 67. The man who had turned a $1,000 loan into a global empire was gone. Subway lost its founder and its center of gravity in the same moment. In the same year, the store count began declining for the first time in 4 decades of continuous growth. Franchisees were walking away. In 2016 alone, domestic system sales fell by $200 million. Meanwhile, competitors, Jersey Mike's, Jimmy John's, Firehouse Subs, grew by over $500 million combined. The sandwich market wasn't dying. Subway was. And then Jared. In August 2015, the FBI raided Jared Fogle's home and arrested him on charges. He pleaded guilty. He was sentenced to 15 years and 11 months in federal prison. The man whose smiling face had been on every Subway wall, every television ad, every promotional banner for 15 years, The living embodiment of the brand's health and wholesome promise was exposed as something horrifying and irreparable. One industry firm estimated Subway's reputation score dropped from near excellent to merely average. A brand consultant said at the time, for a while, when you see a Subway ad, you're going to think about that charge. Subway cut ties with Fogel immediately. But a logo doesn't cut ties with 15 years of association. The brand had built its entire identity on one man's story, and that story had just become a nightmare. What replaced it? Nothing. Subway had no backup, no alternative identity, no plan. Just empty walls where Jared's face used to hang. What followed revealed the true character of how Subway operated. Rather than rebuilding trust with the franchisees who ran their thousands of stores, Subway doubled down on control. Allegations surfaced from franchise owners that company-appointed development agents, themselves franchisees, were targeting struggling stores through manufactured inspections. One Ohio owner was cited for coats left in a back room. Another was flagged for slicing vegetables in a choppy manner. In many cases, the stores cited for violations were then acquired by the very development agents conducting the inspections. A lawsuit accused Subway of specifically targeting immigrant franchise owners, who made up roughly 50% of its system, as easier marks for exploitation. Subway was cannibalizing its own people. While all of this was happening inside Subway's walls, the sandwich market outside those walls was quietly being remapped. Jersey Mike's had been slinging subs in Point Pleasant, New Jersey, since 1956. For decades, it was barely a regional chain. Then, methodically, it expanded. Not with the reckless volume of Subway's growth, but with discipline. No cannibalizing existing owners. Fresh meat, sliced in front of the customer. Franchisee economics that actually worked. By 2026, a typical Jersey Mike's generates around $1.35 million in annual revenue. A typical Subway location, around $500,000, nearly 3 times the difference. Between 2023 and 2026, Jersey Mike's grew its share of the American sandwich market from 13% to 20%. Subway's share fell from 40% to 35%. The customers who left Subway didn't leave sandwiches. They left Subway. In 2021, Subway finally acknowledged what most observers had known for years. It launched its Eat Fresh Refresh, the most comprehensive menu overhaul in the company's history. New bread, new meats, upgraded ingredients. Then $80 million to install deli slicing machines in all 20,000 American locations. Tom Brady and Serena Williams appeared in ads. Same-store sales turned positive for 10 consecutive quarters. If you squinted at the press releases, it looked like a comeback. In April 2024, private equity firm Roark Capital acquired Subway for $9.6 billion, one of the largest restaurant acquisitions ever. New ownership, new capital, new strategy. And yet in 2025, Subway closed another 729 stores. Total franchise revenue fell 6%. Franchisees reported the new slicer machines hadn't driven meaningful improvements in customer counts or profitability. The gap between Subway Corporate's financial story and the reality inside its stores remained as wide as ever. The company's net income surged to $688 million in 2025, but that income is being generated at the top, while store-level operators continue to lose ground. Subway the corporation is becoming more profitable as Subway the restaurant experience continues to disappear. There is something almost poetic about that. A company that built its entire model on extracting value from the people who ran its stores has now found a way to profit, even as those stores vanish. Jersey Mike's didn't invent a new category. It didn't discover some untapped market or revolutionary technology. It simply treated its franchisees fairly, made a product worth eating, and let the results compound over time. Subway once did those things too, back when a college student with $1,000 and a dream could build something that mattered. Somewhere along the way, the machine took over, and the dream became a royalty fee. Nearly 19,000 Subway restaurants still exist in America. Roark Capital is trying to right the ship, cutting weaker units, attracting larger franchise operators, pushing international growth. Perhaps there is a leaner, more sustainable Subway waiting on the other side of this contraction. But that is not what this story is about. This story is about what happens when a company decides that the people who depend on it are resources to be mined rather than partners to be invested in. When customers are data points, when franchisees are revenue streams, when the product becomes secondary to the system. Subway didn't collapse because of one bad year. It collapsed because of one bad philosophy, applied consistently, for a very long time. And in the end, the customers, the franchisees, and the market all arrived at the same conclusion: they found someone better. But Subway isn't the only giant that built an empire by quietly exploiting the people who trusted it most. Click the video on screen to find out why 40,000 seniors are suing Nestlé.